Hey everyone, what's the minimum gear you need to get started in the miniature painting hobby? And can you really do it on a budget? Let's find out. Welcome to Game Day Minis, where we learn how to paint minis and get them ready for game day. First must have item brushes. Getting into this hobby, there's a lot of confusing information about brushes. The Kolinsky brushes, there's natural hair brushes, there's synthetic brushes. The best thing you can do is get a cheap set of brushes like this. This is from Amazon. It had 21 brushes. They're synthetic. Nothing special. I'm not even sure I recommend these brushes, candidly, but the best thing you can do at the beginning of your journey is to get just a cheap set that you can learn. This particular set had way more brushes than you actually need. 21 brushes, you won't need 21 brushes for this hobby, but it did have the correct sizes that you'll need. So one thing that's important is that you need a dry brush. The dry brush is probably the most important thing with miniatures, especially if you're going to slap chop, because you want to prime your miniatures first, and then you want to go back over it with a dry brush. And you do need the right size for that. The key there is you want a number 2 or number 3 dry brush for smaller miniatures. You can have one of these larger ones if you have a bigger miniature that you're wanting to work on, but you don't need these. Now, makeup brushes will work just fine. There's also flat brushes that will work. So you have a lot of options here, but this kit was $21 total for all of these brushes, and this is the one you really need. It's like a number 2, maybe a number 3 dry brush. That will help put in those highlights onto those, especially for slap chop. As you can see here, it's almost perfect size for these miniatures. These are 28 millimeter miniatures, so you can just get your dry brush, your paint, and you can just apply them very, very easily here to this miniature. Again, a larger one is okay too, or slightly smaller one, but this is about the size you want, a number 2 or number 3. The other thing that it comes with is this particular set. It came with what's called flat brushes and liner brushes and round brushes. You don't need all those brushes. What you really need is a set of round brushes. As you can see here, the sizes really range, but what you need is a 0, 1, 2. And that's the key that you'll want to use. So that's really it. A set of $20 paint brushes will get you started. Just make sure you have the right size of round brushes in 0, 1, and 2, and a flat brush in size 2 or 3 for dry brushing. And you are good to go to start this hobby. Next up, let's talk about speed paints, contrast paints that you need. The most important thing about picking a paint is getting paints made specifically for the miniature painting hobby. There are 4 main type of players: Army Painter, Citadel, GSW, and Vallejo. In my case, I chose Army Painter, and I chose this Speed Paint Mega 2.0 kit. It included about 50 paints, including metallic paints and a wide variety of colors that I felt were important for me getting started in this hobby. This way, I can have a wide selection of which colors I want to paint. In addition, I chose a Fanatic set, which is a solid-based color for highlights. So I'm doing slap chop, and as a result of the slap chop, I wanted to highlight my miniatures, and I wanted a standard set of colors, not too many, but I'm just getting started. I can always add more colors. Both of these sets cost about $150 combined, including shipping. Finally, I had to choose a primer, and I chose 2 color primers because I'm primarily slap chopping. These 2 colors are gray and black. So I will base coat them with these primers and test them out and see what colors I like. And then I will dry brush white on top. Finally, let's talk about different sources of miniatures and how to get them. So the first source for miniatures are printing them yourselves on a 3D printer. Now, this isn't exactly considered a budget-friendly option because you do have to invest in a printer, but if you already have one, then this is a great option for you. An example is my Mini Factory. You can see here, one of my favorites is called Epic Fantasy, an Epic Invictus for sci-fi. They produce these armies bundles. Here's an example of a campaign of over 200 miniatures for $80. And there's also discount codes available routinely on my Mini Factory. 60% Black Friday right now for summer is 50% off. So you can get these at a great deal. Tons of minis, over 200 minis. That averages out to be about just over $2 a mini. or maybe just under $2 a mini. So great option. Another one is joining their Patreon or joining tribes for your favorite creator. In this example, they produce about 80 models a month for $12. So another great source. The only downside of this particular one is you get what you get, and you don't get to pick which models you're really interested in. They just produce a set of 80 models per month, and you get what those are. But for only $12 each month with over 80 models, it's a great option. So here's a closer look at what you get for that monthly Patreon subscription. Again, there's lots of them out there, lots of different companies that make these available through their Patreon. Cast and Play, Titan Forge, there's lots of different ones. But this is just an example of one of the companies that produce models every month for a flat fee of $12. Good deal. Another source for inexpensive minis is Etsy. Here you can see some starter kits that are available for $10, and you get about 20, 30 minis. The quality may not be there, but definitely if you're looking for a budget option to get into minis and you need something to paint, spending $10 on a set of 30 minis is a great place to start. The quality of these minis, they don't look bad. They look pretty good. Here's another Etsy shop that is selling miniatures. These are called the huge D&D bundle, 71 pieces. If you click here, they're $141, so that averages $2 per mini. This is a great way to get started with your collection of minis. Another source is board games. So here's an example of Fire and Ice. This collection has, I think, over 50 miniatures available in it. It's a great option if you want to play a board game and you want to get minis out of it that you could use for painting. Here's another example of a board game that has miniatures. This is called Darkest Dungeons. As you can see, plenty of miniatures that are included. You'll often find these games on sale because the mechanics or the reviews haven't been very high, and so thus they want to move these very quickly. And so you'll often see sales for these and get a bunch of minis for cheap. Finally, BackerKit or Kickstarter is another great source for miniatures. You'll often get great deals, usually about $1, maybe even less for miniatures. Here's an example of Dragon Cash from Next Level Miniatures. It's for $50 and you get over 50 minis, lots of varieties, sizes, a great source for miniatures. Here's a couple of the stretch goals they have that are available. So let's wrap things up. What do you need as a beginner painter to get started in miniature painting? Well, you need brushes, usually around $20. You need paints, between $50 and $200. And finally, you need miniatures or something to paint, and those can range between 50 cents and $2 or more. So what do you think? Do you agree? Disagree? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like these videos and you want to see more of them, consider subscribing and liking this video. I appreciate it. Have a great day.